If you ever move into a new apartment, there's something most people never think to check. Not the locks, not the smoke detectors, the security cameras, because sometimes cameras aren't installed by the building. Sometimes they're installed by the person who lived there before you. 2 years ago, a graduate student named Ethan Cole moved into a small apartment building in Milwaukee. It was an old brick complex built sometime in the 1970s, thin walls, narrow hallways, flickering hallway lights that buzzed late at night. Nothing unusual, but 3 weeks after moving in, Ethan discovered a small hidden camera inside his living room. A cheap black device tucked into the corner of the ceiling. At first he thought it was a prank, or maybe an old security camera left behind by maintenance, until he plugged it into his laptop and realized something strange. The camera wasn't recording his apartment. It was recording his apartment from the future. Ethan Cole had moved to Milwaukee to start his architecture graduate program, University of Wisconsin. He found the apartment online, building name, Lakewood Flats, unit 304, rent, cheap enough for a student budget. The building itself was quiet, mostly older tenants. A retired couple in 302, a middle-aged man named Victor Alvarez in 305 who worked night shifts at a warehouse. After 10 p.m., the building usually went silent. The kind of silence where you could hear footsteps from the hallway outside your door, or pipes rattling somewhere inside the walls. It was late November when Ethan found the camera. A cold wind rattled the windows while he rearranged furniture in the living room. He was pushing a bookshelf against the wall when something small fell from the ceiling corner. A black device the size of a matchbox. At first he thought it was part of the smoke detector, but it had a tiny lens, a micro SD slot, and a USB port. A camera. Ethan frowned. Seriously. Someone had definitely hidden it there. But the strange part was that the device had no wireless signal. No power source, just a small SD card inside. Curious, Ethan pulled the card out and plugged it into his laptop. A single video file appeared, time-stamped, December 3rd to 2nd, 18 a.m. Ethan stared at the date. Because it was still November 28th, Ethan assumed the timestamp was wrong. Cheap cameras sometimes had incorrect settings. He opened the file. The video began instantly. It showed his living room, exactly as it looked now. Same couch, same lamp near the window, same coffee table. The camera angle matched the corner where he had just found the device. Ethan leaned closer to the screen. Everything looked normal for about 10 seconds. Then something changed. In the video, Ethan was sitting on the couch, watching television, except Ethan wasn't sitting on the couch. He was standing at his desk, watching the video. His stomach tightened. He paused the clip, looked at the couch, empty. He pressed play again. Video. Ethan shifted slightly on the couch, picked up his phone, looked toward the hallway. The room lighting flickered briefly. Then video. Ethan slowly stood up and walked toward the hallway leading to the bedroom. Ethan felt a strange chill, because the video timestamp still read December 3rd to 2nd, 18 a.m., 5 days in the future. He kept watching. Video. Ethan disappeared into the hallway. For several seconds, the living room remained empty. Then something else entered the frame. Someone else. The person stepped into the living room slowly, tall, wearing a dark jacket, face partially hidden by shadows. Ethan's breathing slowed. The person looked around the room carefully, then walked directly toward the camera, like they knew exactly where it was. The figure leaned closer, close enough for the camera to capture their face. Ethan's pulse quickened, because he recognized the man. It was Victor Alvarez, the neighbor from apartment 305. Victor stared directly into the camera lens, then reached upward toward the exact spot where Ethan had found the device. The screen suddenly went black. End of file. Ethan sat frozen for several seconds. Then he checked the file again. Only one video. Recorded 5 days in the future. Outside, a car drove past the building. Headlights briefly crossed the living room wall. Ethan suddenly felt very uncomfortable being alone in the apartment. He stood up slowly, walked toward the door, and checked the lock. Still locked. He told himself the video had to be fake. Some kind of weird pre-recorded prank. Still, he placed the camera back on the desk and went to bed. Over the next few days, Ethan tried to ignore the video. Classes, studio projects, late nights working on architectural models. But something kept bothering him. Every time he looked at the couch, he imagined the moment from the video, himself sitting there. On the night of December 3rd, finally, the night arrived. December 3rd, cold wind outside. Snow starting to fall lightly. Ethan sat at his desk working on a project. The time on his phone read to 10 a.m. He felt uneasy, without really thinking about it. He walked into the living room and sat down on the couch. Exactly like the video, the room was silent. The lamp beside the couch hummed softly to 17 a.m. Ethan stared toward the hallway. A strange feeling settled in his chest. Then the lights flickered, just once, exactly like the video. Ethan slowly stood up, his heart beating faster now. Because he realized something. Everything was happening exactly the way it had happened in the recording. Even the way he was standing. Even the direction he looked. And in 10 seconds, Victor would enter the room. Ethan backed away from the hallway. "No," he whispered. He grabbed his phone, started dialing 911, then something made him freeze. The front door handle moved slightly, a slow metallic click. Someone unlocking it from the outside. Ethan's pulse exploded in his chest. The door opened. Victor stepped inside quietly, exactly like the video. He looked surprised when he saw Ethan standing there. "You're awake," Victor said calmly. Ethan's voice shook. "You broke into my apartment." Victor looked toward the ceiling corner, where the camera used to be, then back at Ethan. "Where is it?" Victor asked. Ethan felt cold. "The camera." Victor's expression hardened. "You weren't supposed to find it yet." Ethan slowly backed toward the kitchen, phone still in his hand. "You were watching me." Victor shook his head slowly. "No," he pointed toward the desk, where Ethan's laptop sat open. "You were watching yourself." Ethan felt his stomach drop. Victor continued calmly. "That camera records 5 days ahead." Ethan stared at him. "That's impossible," Victor sighed. "I didn't install it." He glanced toward the door, then back at Ethan. "I found it in my apartment first." The room went silent, snow tapping lightly against the window. Victor spoke again, quietly. "I saw a recording of myself standing in your apartment." Ethan's throat tightened. "And now it happened." Victor nodded. "Yes." Then he looked past Ethan, toward the laptop screen. His expression changed, suddenly pale. Ethan turned slowly. The laptop was still playing a video, a new file. Timestamp: December 8th to 2nd, 18 a.m. 5 days from now. The video showed Ethan's apartment again, but this time the room looked different. Furniture overturned, lights off, and lying on the floor were 2 bodies, Ethan and Victor. The apartment door slowly opened in the video, and someone else walked inside, a third person. The camera captured the figure's face clearly. Ethan felt his breath stop, because the person entering the room was Ethan.